Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the invocation.
Our Heavenly Father, as we gather here this evening, there's much political discord in this world. And I hope that we can be an example, even though I'm sure that we're not being watched in the small town of Independence, but I hope that we can be an example as to those who can get along and make decisions based on the betterment of their community and not on their personal agendas. As always, please be with our first responders, our military serving at home and abroad, and all of those who are sick and in need of your healing hand. It is in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Councilmember Franzen. Small correction, I like to think of us as a moderately large city in Kentucky because it's been described that way to me.
Okay, sorry, Lord. Make that correction, please.
We are, I believe, the 13th largest city in the Commonwealth by population.
He's all-knowing, so we're good.
That's true. That's
Don't have
true.
to worry about that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
All right. Getting started. Madam Clerk, roll call of members, please.
Mr. Brinker?
Here.
Mr. Baylor?
Here.
Mrs. Steffen?
Here.
Yes.
Mrs. Franzen?
Here.
Well, my wife was here one time on the council. Good point.
Mr. Vogelpohl?
Here.
Mr. Wade?
Here.
All right. Sounds like we have a quorum and we are off to a swimming start already.
What's your time today?
All right, before we get on with our business, approval of the council minutes from our July 7th meeting. Council had an opportunity to review the minutes. Any questions, corrections, concerns? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve council meeting minutes from July 7th, 2025.
I'll second.
Motion from Councilmember Franzen, second from Councilmember Vogelpohl. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. And before we get started with our business, it is my pleasure to welcome our esteemed Judge Executive. Judge Chris Knockelman is here to give us an update on the county. Judge, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. And I won't take the esteemed title, but I'll just say the judge title is good. So thank you all for giving me a few minutes to update you on things going around the county. Many of these items that I'll chat with you about, you may be aware of them already, but really I probably should do this more often than I do. But I talked to a number of you individually, but this is just an opportunity to kind of give you an update on really mostly all good news that's going on in the county, but an opportunity also if you'd like to have any questions at the end, I'd be happy to take those. You know, some of the things we all work on, the nuts and bolts that no one ever gets excited about, but we have to do every day. Public safety, the education in our community, and some of those we obviously have insight in, but we don't have, when you think about the community success, we think about public safety and education. Education we don't have any involvement with, but I do want to touch on a couple things on the public safety to start off with. First off, as you all are very well aware of, is we consolidated dispatch a number of years ago. That continues to go very well, both operationally and financially. We are very excited that staffing continues to be more and more stable over years. We continue to invest in the people there. Part of that is that the infrastructure behind it, as you all also are probably aware, one of the biggest investments we've made in the county, and it has really added to public safety for your residents and all of Northern Kentucky, is the joint radio system that continues to be paid for by our annual fees. But with that, the dispatch operation that your police and fire are very, very involved with, the staff that is served by that and the community is served by that dispatch operation, we went with an updated CAD system that is really now the model across the region. And one of the things we hope to do, because we now, all of our police departments and fire departments across all three counties can talk to one another. One of those that we want to make, we believe this is going to come to fruition, that is a unified CAD system across the counties. So that if a dispatch operation in Boone County, they would be able to back up Kenton and Campbell for whatever might happen, hopefully never a catastrophic event, but when they do happen, we'll be ready for that. And the CAD system was updated in 2018, and then the radio system followed thereafter. Part of that unified system that we have in Kenton does serve your residents and your departments regularly, and you may not be aware of this, but the MDTs, the computers that your police officers and fire departments use, that is built into the countywide system. Why do you care? Well, number one, it's not on your budget. So what happens is your police and fire get the most up-to-date technology without having to worry about it being on your budget. That's cycled in so that as whether we add 3 years or 4 years, you don't have to argue that across the community for public safety. They get replaced, they've got what they need, and in a system supporting them behind the scenes. To that end, by the way, our dispatch calls, Mayor, I'll give you a test here real quick. So what do you think, how many calls, I won't put you on the spot. How many calls in 2024 for police and fire for Independence? Almost 34,000 calls.
I
that
was going
came
to
in.
guess 36,000.
I knew you were going to guess 36,000, which is about 11% of the total, of the total for the county. It's interesting, obviously, our urban core of Covington, number one. Off the charts, that's where most of the 911 calls come from. But with bigger cities like your alls, you're going to have those calls just even by sheer residence. Jumping to the other support effort of detention center, Jailer Fields has done an extraordinary job of continuing to be there for when your police department arrests individuals, they have a place to go. And those who are meant to be locked up get locked up, and the ones who need to be released are released to treatment or whatever they need to do to make sure that they're getting back into the employment world and making sure they're supporting their families. To that end, a side note, I've been using this data talking to the cities. Right before COVID, we had about 900 inmates at the jail. It was built for about 600. So that tells you pre-COVID the mess that we had. Today we're running around 600. So what does that mean? Well, the people are getting arrested and locked up, but we're working daily with the judges so that individuals who need to get to treatment directly, again, or need to just pay their fines and move on, aren't on all of our tax dollars, and those individuals are making sure that they're contributing back to the community benefit. You have an amazing police department, fire department, but our county police department is one of the key organizations, I think, that back you all up. We don't need to do a lot, but the areas that we help, of course, were investigations, our drone team, and sadly, we do have to have the Internet Crimes Against Children team that does support you all and the rest of the county, as well as the accident reconstruction team. Why does that matter? Well, there's expertise that can be had there countywide and doesn't have to be held just within the city. Even though you all have a lot of, obviously you have a team that's very sophisticated as well, but they're always here to serve you, as well as Homeland Security and Emergency Management. We all know that Steve Hensley runs that department, is there whenever needed, and can support you on a daily basis. A few things just to point out too, continue to work really well, and I should have said this from the beginning. The mayor and I have a great relationship. Previous mayor and I have had a great relationship. I think we hung campaign signs when we were about 12 together. Well, no, he looks 12. I'm still looking old. But it's great to have those relationships where we can work together and, again, hold each other accountable, say, hey, this is can you do this differently? That happens with Independence on a daily basis, and we're continuing to make sure we raise the bar and help each other. In that area, for Public Works, though, jumping to the nuts and bolts again, what we do is in Public Works, every contract we sign as a county, everything can be purchased by a city without renegotiating. So if the pricing is cheaper, the city can always buy on the county contract, no matter what. It's part of our effort. An area we've done really well, and I think saved the city money, is buying our roadway restriping. The city's been a part of that, and that has saved dollars as well. So you don't have to contract with that and do it separately, as well as one of the biggest services we do countywide is animal control. So that operation continues to be run down the hill. And we are always, in fact, we have a new director that's just come on board. She's extraordinary, doing all the things from taking the calls to making sure that we're there to respond to homeowners' complaints. That team continues to be raise their sophistication level and make sure that we care for the animals, but also making sure we're managing the investment that has to be made there. 730 calls last year for the City of Independence individually. So if you can think about what that would take, if you did it individually, had a separate animal control operation or what have you, that just doesn't make sense. But that sophistication is there to back up your police department and support your residents. Just a few other additional projects, and I wanted in particular talked about two that do impact directly the City of Independence. One, which is the city was the first city of all the county to jump on this, which is the redevelopment fund that you all are working on to make sure that if there's any opportunity to pull dollars that aren't city taxes and reinvest in your city, that redevelopment fund, the mayor and Chris were first ones to reach out and say, hey, we would love to partner to do that. That's a fund we obtained through the state and through Senator McDaniel, $5 million fund, and those are all not deployed yet. We're still looking for projects. Covington, Independence, and Erlanger are the three that have jumped out ahead to make sure that those dollars are available. And then a huge investment, that were the two largest investments that have gone on here in Independence, I would say, from the county's perspective, one of which is the renovation of the historic courthouse. Hopefully you all are happy with that. That's something we all own. We want to protect it and keep on investing in it. We've invested over $3 million of that over the past 5 years. Hopefully the project is about finished. We're going to be replacing windows this next year. But the farmers market, which is lively, and I know you hosted it for years, that just adds the resources for our community. I think everybody's been really happy with that result. That can be something there as you work on downtown Independence. I know, Mayor, that's a passion for you, and I think it's something that we should be investing in. We're proud to have two courthouses, and the historic courthouse is something we're going to continue to support. And lastly, to the investment side here in the city is the park. So the new Kenton County Park, we haven't named it yet. It might be Reinersman Park, or maybe Gatlin
I
Park.
wasn't going to suggest it, but you said it.
But the first round of this is going to be over $20 million. So we expect this to be a signature park for the region. It's not going to be duplicative. I have a hard time saying that word sometimes, but it will not be duplicative to any of the investments going on in Erlanger or in Covington and elsewhere. We want to make sure that it's a place that everybody can really come to enjoy in a special way. And just coming out, here this evening, we see your small parks and the county's parks, and it's great this time of year just to see hundreds of people away from their phones and with family and friends getting outside. I saw tonight football, soccer, pickleball, and just people in the creek and people walking on the pathways. And that's a small level of what we're going to continue to do in the new park. We expect that to be a multi-year effort, so we are now out on the street with some of the early design and construction side of things. So we expect, I think dirt will move sometime in 2025, if not early 2026. But it is going to be something that we're all going to be very, very impressed by and be able to utilize as families. So the Fox Run Park, this is your all's backyard, so I just add this point. Because of the topography, it lends itself to some really neat opportunities to get up in the trees with some walkways and whatnot, so families can be up there. Some of the renderings we've gotten from some of the designers, it's really going to be impressive. The investments that will be made, it'll be a long-term investment that's something that's well maintained. But we're very excited about that. And then I'll wrap up on two of the last items that are very big for the region. That is, one is Spark House, the entrepreneurship hub that'll be opening on 7th and Madison. That opens up in September. That's a $17 million project to basically be the hub for Northern Kentucky entrepreneurs to hopefully have businesses start and grow here and stay here in Kenton County and in Northern Kentucky. That project is, we're literally less than $500,000 from being 100% paid for. $17 million project. Over 50% leased out, which is businesses coming here, investors who are there to hopefully really nurture that business side of things. And then a very, very big project that the state has really put on our back to work with the Port Authority is to bring UK Medical School and Northern's Chase College of Law to Covington. We're probably a week or so around from finalizing the location of that university. There are two locations, two universities, and the state investment of $125 million. It will happen. It will be built, and it will be something, will be open for the school year of 2028 in Covington. So that's a project that was designated through, again, Senator McDaniel and the Commonwealth to invest in those two universities to allow them to grow and be another resource for all of us long term. So I'm surely not an attorney, and I'm definitely not a medical physician or trained in that area, but my job is to get the buildings built and get them open, which we will do that. So it's going to be something we're all going to be real proud of, I think, in the coming years. So with that, I'll be quiet, and if any of you have any questions, actually, no, a very important one I forgot to acknowledge. The other effort is our site readiness effort, which is you've obviously, we had a lot of news on that, a lot of comments on it. That we've got a $13 million fund that has started that effort to make sure we get ready for sites here in Northern Kentucky and in Kenton County. We continue to start that. It's just essentially a method of planning. What are we doing to make sure we're planning for the long-term viability of projects to come to Kenton County so that we have jobs and growth in those areas? This is going to be a multi-10-year, 20-year effort, but continuing on the prior 20 years. But that effort continues. A number of you have called me about questions about it. There's nothing set in stone. We're working through that today and visiting with residents and really making great progress there as well. So with that, I'll stop. So any thoughts or questions? I'm happy to take them.
Are those going to be satellite schools, I assume? Chase and UK Medical, those are going to be?
No, for sure Chase will not be. Chase will be 100% located in Covington. And then UK School of Medicine, which already has a satellite operation in the Highland Heights campus, which they retrofitted existing buildings to go there a couple of years ago. Now they will have a full home. And with our hopes are that we do this correctly so that UK continues to invest here so that we have one of the efforts is to make sure that there's a place for physicians to come and be trained and stay in Northern Kentucky and not go elsewhere, right? The state needs that and Northern Kentucky needs that. And not to mention the fact that with Chase coming quote, back home, if you will, to Covington, the idea of having an urban environment has been really appealing. Not everybody likes that idea, but most do, which can really be that a lot of the most successful law schools right now in the country have found that they're reinvesting in the urban core, which is where their students are and want to be. And obviously, we're very close to the courthouses, which is good. So,
Okay, thank you.
you bet.
No, I have one.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Judge, will the Fox Run Park remain open during construction?
I'm sure parts of it would not, because it is going to be a monster earth-moving project. So, obviously, most of the green space and all that stuff gets held, but between the shelters, the bike paths, the walk paths, none of which will be on the same area. So we're going to have everything from, investing in the lake, all the creeks that were covered over for the golf course, those will all come back. Those will be whatever the proper term for it is, but that earth will be moved, so it'll be something. Definitely during construction, there'll be pieces that won't be open, unfortunately. But once it's finished, we're not going to draw this out for 10 years. It's something we're going to move fast. The commissioners have one of the many projects they've said, Chris, let's get this moving and let's get it done. So that's why we're going to move very fast.
Okay, that's great. I mean, I'm up there 3 times a week when I can to walk. It's such a great asset, and I really enjoy it. The 6 miles of golf cart paths. It's amazing the golf balls I found that were mine from years ago in the creek bed. I got my initials on it. I'll be darned, there they were. So, yeah, I really enjoy it.
And some have asked the question, by the way, why in the world, a couple hundred acres, why would the county invest in a park? Number one, regionally, we are still underparked. You all have great parks. Many of our cities have really well-designed and heavily used parks. But as a region, we're generally under green space for park. Setting that aside, if we today were to sell Fox Run, 100% of the proceeds would go back to the federal government because that property was bought with federal grants. I know you all have opportunities like that to obtain federal grants. When you invest them, you can't just walk away with that investment and put it elsewhere. So the good and bad of that is because we investigated the heck out of it. It's either make it, leave it as it is, which we could do, invest in it and make it a community benefit, or sell it and all the proceeds go back to the federal government, which is not one of our goals. So it's going to be, it'll be something I think everybody's going to be very proud of.
If you could flatten out a few of those hills, I would appreciate it.
We can do a lot of things, Carol, but that's one thing we're going to have to work with the hills, I think. So, yeah.
Any other questions for the judge?
Always here to serve you guys, so thanks so much for everything you do for the city.
Thank
you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on, before we get into, we have no old business. Before we get into new business, I do want to take the opportunity to introduce Jeff Barnes. Jeff, I could ask you to stand up. Jeff is our new PDS representative here in Independence. You all may remember Kristen Martin, who was working out here for a while, and a few before her. But Kristen was promoted a few months ago, and Jeff has been with us now for at least a couple of months, right? Maybe 3 months. Yeah, and, yeah, so he is our in-house, if you recall, when we came into the fold on a lot of the PDS things, one of our conditions was we wanted somebody in our offices here, so Jeff's out here 3 days a week, 2 full days and 1 half day, if I recall. So, yeah, that's right, so mainly just want to give council the opportunity to meet him. So
You'll
Jeff
be
is-
hearing from me a lot. Me and Kristen are on the phone all the time for my job, so.
Okay. And Jeff, I could ask you to stick around. I think we're gonna have a discussion later that we may need your help on if you could. Okay, appreciate it. Okay.
No.
All right. As you all know, we typically don't have what's called privileges of the floor on our agenda. And generally, we go by, residents are of course welcome to speak, but we try to limit it to items on the agenda. Because we have a full-time staff that can generally resolve most of these issues without taking council's time or taking time in a meeting. However, on occasion, we have a resident who's not aware of that, is taking time to come in, so if you all don't mind, I'm going to take a moment and ask Mr. Norm Davidson. Mr. Davidson, if you'd like to step up, and if you could state your name and address for the record.
Norm Davidson, 779 Jamay Avenue, Independence, obviously. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity, and I did ask and saw that it was not on the agenda. I wasn't aware of that part.
Sir,
Jamay
can you speak into the microphone
Yeah.
a little bit more?
I kinda
I
leaned
thought
into
I
that
was.
one there.
You know, being a Baptist preacher, you'd think I'd know that.
I wouldn't think you'd need a microphone.
Well, I don't really. All right, so do you need me to repeat anything yet? We're good, okay. So there was a petition that went around for speed bumps or speed humps or whatever you want to call them for Jamay Avenue. It's a cul-de-sac, so wherever you put one, if you put one, it's going to affect the whole street. The purpose for the petition, and I didn't see the petition the last time they had it, I was against it then. Anything except speed bumps. Everybody's in favor of safety for kids. We know that. I mean, I want the same thing if there's a way to do that. I would be in favor about anything except speed bumps, me personally. It's a vote for everybody on the street. The ballots has gone out. That's when I first found out about it. And I went around door to door just asking people to vote, just doing what my portion of civic duty is. The speed humps, I think, is it's a problem in the sense that lowers property values, things like that. What I would like to ask the council two things to consider. The people that I spoke with on the street, on the top part of the street and the bottom part of the street, is not in favor of the speed humps. The center section is. The ballots are supposed to be turned in by this Friday, which is a short period. If it does pass, my way of thinking is put the speed bumps where the people that want them, which is right in the center. I think 746 to 764. They're the ones who want the speed bumps, let them have it. The other part is some of the people that live right next door to me, just talking to them today, they did not receive ballots. And this late in the game, how do we get their vote to count? I mean, when they didn't even receive a ballot. Is there a way to possibly have them call in, get their ballot, and maybe extend it 1 week or something to give them time to get it in. I don't know.
Yeah, and the police department handles that. I mean, this has been a rigorous process that we've had in place since before my time. We did some serious tweaks to it several years ago, and the reality of speed bumps is there's generally not a whole lot of people in the middle. People either love them or hate them. They desperately want them or they hate to have them there. So we've really worked hard to design a fair process to get it in there. And Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, but the placement of the speed hump, isn't it related to the original petitioner, or what determines that? It's hard to say.
There's a couple different reasons, or they could put them where they're gonna put them. Most of the time, it has to do with curves and distances from stop signs and things like that. Only certain roads can get them because they're not long enough, and they got a curve in them and things like that. That generally is what does it more than anything, because they can't be within so many feet of a driveway, of a stop sign, of things like that.
Fire hydrant.
So, I'm sorry,
Right.
what was that, sir?
Fire hydrants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of those kinds of things, more than, who wants it. We try to put them as close as possible to the person that requested them, but that's not always right in front of their house.
Okay.
If it can't be put there, it can't be put there. And the reasoning for the potentially, and again, I haven't seen the petition, so I can't say for sure, but not every house always gets a ballot. It's a certain distance from whatever the person who's requesting it. So, like if you take a long road like Richardson Road, you're not gonna do everybody's house on Richardson Road because there's so many houses. Now, Jamay is a shorter street, so I don't know why everybody wouldn't get a ballot, but I'd have to read the
We
actual
go to
ordinance.
we use the PBA records for the property owner of record. Is that correct?
I believe so,
Yeah.
and it gets mailed out
That-
to.
Yeah, that makes perfectly good sense. The question, though, on the not receiving ballots for the distance, being a cul-de-sac, everybody on the street is affected.
Yeah, I would think on Jamaica,
So,
yeah. It was short enough that I would think that it could. I'm wondering if
Well, that's.
possibly got lost in the mail, or do you have any idea, are they the property owners, or are they possibly renting the property?
They are property owners.
Okay.
There is some in a cul-de-sac that are rental properties. I'm
Okay.
not exactly sure which ones, but there are some. And again, I'm all in favor of safety the same as anybody else. I don't want seeing anybody get hurt, but just, is there another way? That's all I'm asking,
And for better or for worse, that's the way we've determined, is we've tried to make it as fair and equitable as we could on that, and recognizing that we're not going to take it upon ourselves if somebody asks for it, because we hear that quite a bit, and I've heard those complaints. Well, why wouldn't you put one in? I asked for one. Like, well, if you went through the process, the majority of your neighbors don't want it, or maybe they do.
So just one last request is maybe give the people who didn't give them a chance to call in, extend it 1 week.
Yeah. Are these,
And,
the ballots are not anonymous, are they, or are they?
They come out where you put your name and address.
Okay.
They're
So
blank,
they-
yeah.
I've got one here if you want to look at it.
Would
But
it- So we'd be able to check and see if it's, make sure we don't have duplicate votes. We would normally
we
confirm
would
that.
get all of them back, and they would be either written down as a yes or a no, and you have to have a certain number come back in order for it to pass, and a certain number of them have to be yes for them to pass. So it's all written in here, and if you want, I can get you a copy of the
Yeah.
You've got it all?
I've got mine and mailed it back the same day.
But did it have the entire ordinance in it from start to finish, or was it just this
I
section?
vaguely remember it, but
Well-
there was some ordinances, I believe, on top of the thing, and then where you filled out, you print and sign your name.
Yeah, well,
and
if you want
address.
it, you can come get it either after this or after, tomorrow or something, but it would have exactly how many houses, the distance, how many votes you need, the different processes, and it's all in a nice, neat ordinance for you to read
Well,
through.
again, though,
Yeah,
I looked it up online and handed him the paper, but I printed it off for him.
again, wouldn't the distance be wouldn't the distance be, not be wouldn't the distance be not considered because of being a cul-de-sac?
it just depends on, I have to read the ordinance. I don't know if it mentions a cul-de-sac in there or not, I don't know it verbatim. Yeah, it
these-
wouldn't be in the cul-de-sac for sure.
No, no,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know that. I'm just saying the people that get ballots, because
We could-
they
if-
gotta be so far
Chief, do you see
away.
any problem, if the residents who didn't get ballots, if they want to stop by the police department and pick up a ballot, do you see any problem with that?
I have no problem with that, because
Okay.
it would be there's no way they could do a duplicate.
Could do a
so-
duplicate, yeah.
Yeah,
So if they'd like to stop by and pick up a ballot, they'd be welcome to do that this week.
Okay.
And, we'll take a look at it and kind of see where the results land.
okay, thank you for your time, appreciate
Thank
it.
you. All right. All right, moving on to items of new business. First item of business is proposed ordinance. These are awarding our franchise agreements. So we have 3 in a row here pertaining to our franchise agreements. As I think you all know, we have agreements with various utility providers that allow them to use our right-of-way. We've had this in place for years, and like any contract, they periodically expire and have to be renewed. And that is simply what we're doing here. So Duke is the exclusive provider of gas in this area. So we have a franchise agreement pertaining to gas, and then we have both Duke and Owen Electric that provide electric to Independence in accordance with where you are located. No changes there. This is simply renewing those franchise agreements with them. And with that little introduction, Attorney Gadlin, I will let you take it from here.
This is an ordinance confirming the sale and awarding a non-exclusive franchise to Duke Energy Kentucky for a term of 10 years for natural gas franchise for the placement of facilities for the transmission, distribution, and sale of electrical and gas energy under our public right-of-way within the city of Independence, Kentucky. As the mayor indicated, these are literally housekeeping issues. These are duplications of ordinances that were passed in 2015. There is no fundamental changes in place. The state constitution says that you cannot impose a franchise over 20 years. Most cities do 10-year franchise agreements for utilities for whatever reason. So this is keeping the status quo, which is allowing Duke to continue to operate within our right-of-way and us imposing the 3.4% fee, which has been in place for about 7 years now, I think, Chris?
The fee?
3.4%,
about
yes,
7
about
years.
7 years.
Yeah, it's been about 7. but
Yeah.
The fee's been in place
Yeah.
for 10 or so. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah, nothing's changed, nothing changed in the agreement. I mean, we didn't even change a hyphen.
Right.
I do have a question. So on this gas one, where it says transmission, distribution, and sale of electric.
Yeah, I'll change that for the second reading. Yep,
Yeah.
So that should be changed to
yep,
natural gas. I got
yep,
you.
yep. I noticed that. That's why I said yes. Yep.
Now, just a quick question of clarification. The funds that come from these franchise fees, they are in our budget and they are allocated to make repairs in right-of-ways when needed? Is that kind of how that works?
They are not, no, they just go into the general fund.
They go into the general,
Yeah, they go
general
in.
fund?
It's
No, I see them.
basically renting our right-of-way to these companies.
Okay,
To use our right-of-way, yeah, they're not specifically allocated to that.
okay.
All right, next, we have an ordinance confirming the sale and awarding a non-exclusive franchise to Duke Energy for a term of 10 years for electric franchise for the placement of facilities for the transmission, distribution, and sale of electrical energy along and under the public right-of-way within the city of Independence, Kentucky. Same deal. The electric franchise is just like the gas. Everything will stay the same. The franchise agreement, which is mirrored by the bidding that you all did by ordinance, you're allowing the mayor to sign that franchise agreement. Next, we have an ordinance confirming the sale and awarding a non-exclusive franchise to Own Electric Cooperative for a term of 10 years for electric franchise for the placement of facilities for the transmission, distribution, and sale of electrical energy along and under the public right-of-way within the city of Independence, Kentucky. There was a social media post that was brought to my attention. Nobody's changing Duke or Owen from whatever your current user is. It's just Independence. About half is Owen and about half is Duke, and everything stays the same in that regard.
No changes there, has nothing to do with gas mains that Duke has decided to replace in state right-of-ways or anything
Nope.
like that. Yeah.
Nope. So those are the 3 first readings.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, moving on, if there are any discussion or any more questions on
Just a
on
real
those
quick
three?
question. Are the flags that we see running down Business 17, is that part of that gas line replacement?
My understanding is that's Duke's
That's
gas
been
line
questions that
replacement,
I've
yeah.
been hearing and seeing that what's going on there.
Yeah.
And they generally don't tell us much,
The
but we
big
assume.
Duke trucks, I guess, aren't.
Well, I think it's yellow pipe, which indicates
Blue
generally it's a
enough,
gas
yeah.
line, so, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my understanding is, yes, it's gas main replacement. It's state right-of-way, so it's not,
Gotcha.
not directly our concern, but yeah, that is my understanding, is that's
Okay.
Duke's gas main replacement.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, moving on. Excuse me, next item of business is resolution number 2025-R-13. This is pertaining to emergency management mutual aid. It was recommended, the judge mentioned, Emergency Management Director Steve Hensley, recommended by Steve Hensley that all cities pass this to aid in, God forbid, should we need assistance for a natural disaster. And, Attorney Gatlin, if you
Yeah,
want.
this is a resolution allowing the mayor to sign the attached statewide emergency management mutual aid and assistance agreement. This is being circulated in every community, I know at least in Kenton County. And the idea being, we currently have a lot of mutual aid agreements in place within the Northern Kentucky region. This expands it statewide, and it also will allow for FEMA funding potentially if we were to send people to areas outside of the region. I think that a lot of the natural disasters that have happened within the state within the last 3 or 4 years, there have been a lot of communities that have helped Eastern Kentucky and helped other areas, and I think this is just a way to more formalize that arrangement and maybe to get money back.
We sent one of our crews to Eastern Kentucky, if you all recall, a couple of years ago in the floods.
Yeah. So this just allows the mayor to sign the attached emergency management mutual aid assistance agreement, which is statewide.
Where does this resolution come from? Did this come out of Kenton County EM?
Yeah.
Like, it's their wording and?
Yeah, I believe it's their wording.
Well,
They wrote the resolution? or-
Steve Hensley sent out a,
Template.
yeah.
This may be a stupid question, but I thought they were doing away with FEMA funding, giving it back to the states. Oh.
I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
All right.
They haven't done it yet.
Any other questions or discussion on that? All right, moving on down the list.
we need a-
Oh, I'm sorry, this is a resolution, isn't it? We do have to.
I'll make a
We have
motion.
some action on that.
Second.
All right, got a motion from Councilmember Vogel, second from Councilmember Wade. Any additional discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call vote, please. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Mr. Brinker?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mr. Stephen?
Yes.
All right. That passes unanimously, thank you. Now we'll move on. Municipal Order Number 2025-MO-06, notice for gas and electric franchise.
Yeah, this is
Attorney
related to the 3 ordinances. So the statutes allow a city to charge between 3% and 5%. Back in 2018, the city set the rate at 3.4%. The ordinances that we are passing and the bids that we put out mirror the state statute, which allows 3 to 5%. And we are just establishing by this municipal order that we're going to continue to charge 3.4% as we have since 2018. So that also requires a vote.
All right.
Yep, sorry.
All right, any other discussion or questions on that one? All right, hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Quote,
I'll make a motion.
got a motion from Councilmember Failor,
I'll second.
second from Councilmember Wade. Any other discussion?
On the ordinances, it was saying 5% for electric and 3.4 for gas, and here it's saying 3.4 for both.
No, it should be 3 to 5% is what the range is. So I will look at that. That would be an error in that ordinance, but 3.4% is what the city has always charged.
For
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
because it was saying 5% for electric.
I will look at that. That is not accurate. And I'm looking at.
Up to 5%.
Yeah, up to 5%.
Up to 5%,
Which is
okay.
what our ordinance allows, because the statute allows, and that gives some flexibility to cities to kind of go anywhere between that 3 and 5. And again, in 2018, this body chose 3.4%, and we just want to mirror that.
Any changes would require council action. We have within that range, but we have been 3.4% like since 2017.
Can we change during the term of the 10 years?
Yes, 90 days notice is what they need.
Okay.
Yep. But it has to be within that parameter.
Okay.
All right. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call vote, please. Madam Clerk?
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
That was a motion from
Yeah,
Councilmember Failor, a second from Councilmember Wade.
Okay, sorry. Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Mr. Brinker?
Yes.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mr. Stephen?
Yes.
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
All right, that motion passes unanimously. All right, last item of business is municipal order number 2025 M007 regarding surplusing a police cruiser.
Yes, so this is a municipal order of the City of Independence, Canton County, Kentucky, making the written determinations required by KRS 82083 for the sale or other disposition of property owned by the city. This is an amendment to the municipal order passed, order number 2025 MO-02, because this said vehicle, this 2014 Dodge Charger, did not receive any bids on GovDeals. So there was actually the constable of Bell County reached out, and much to the chagrin of the chief, I said we needed to go ahead and resurplus it as an intergovernmental transfer to the Bell County Constable with a fair market value of $2,500. Big demand for these 2014 Dodge Chargers.
Right. What happened to the world where you couldn't find old used cars anymore? Although,
That's right.
police cruisers may not have been they take a beating to be part of it. All right, any questions on this one? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve municipal order number 2025 MO-07.
Okay, got a motion from Councilmember Franzen.
I'll second.
I got a second from Councilmember Wade. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Mr. Steppen?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Brinker?
Yes.
All right, the motion passes unanimously. That completes our business for the evening, but remain comfortable. We have some discussions to be had. It'll be, we'll start off with.
I hate to ask this, but could we have like a 2-minute recess?
All I need is a motion.
I make that motion.
Motion recess. Do I have a second?
I have a second.
I've got a second from a motion from Councilmember Franzen, second from Councilmember Brinker. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. We are in recess.
You'll regret that.
that?
Yes.
Okay. Wasn't sure. I wasn't looking that way. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are back in regular session. Thank you. All right, as I said, we've got a couple of discussions to have during our reports. Attorney Gavin, I don't know if you're part of those discussions.
No, I have
or
nothing
not.
to report.
Nothing to report. All right. That moves us right up to Mr. Marconi.
Sure, Mayor. One thing under there is a leash law discussion. Councilmember Franson touched base with me last week requesting that this be put just informally on the agenda to have a discussion, so. But what was interesting, it was kind of learning, it was interesting when Councilmember and I saw the ordinance, we had to go back, Gina, to her credit, 1976.
And I was
Other than
not
the
on
vicious
council
dog,
then.
that's a separate one.
Yeah, I believe that was the year before.
The year before.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
was
this
only 5.
original is what we found, Jack, but now the vicious dog ordinance does talk about leashes in relation to vicious dogs. So I
Right.
don't know if there's duplication
Well-
or what, but, so in general, I just wanted to throw it out. Everybody's got a copy of the original, and Carol, what say you?
Well, were you gonna say something, Jack, before that?
Yeah, so in 2020, when we adopted the, number one, the language is basically the same.
Okay.
But in 2020, when we adopted the Kenton County Animal Control Ordinance, it dealt with leashes.
Yeah, I don't know what, I don't remember that.
Yeah, so it's the same. It basically says that there's no running at large, so it is unlawful for any person to permit an animal they own or harbor to run at large, be off the owner's property without restraint. And restraint is defined as enclosed in a fenced area or secured by a leash, chain, or cable tie-out. So it's in essence the same. Nothing's
Okay.
changed, yeah.
Okay.
The reason I bring it up is I've been dealing with, it's not a stray dog, it's a neighborhood dog over on Pembroke that keeps getting out, and I keep I shouldn't say dealing with, I keep communicating with one of the neighbor's sons. The mother is elderly. It's a cane corso, so it's obviously a big dog. It's not a vicious dog, but it keeps I guess the toddlers in the house keep letting the dog out. I've gone down to, I'm a volunteer at the animal shelter, obviously, as you all know, but I've gone down to speak to the director and the animal control officer that was involved. I got, obviously, a different side of the story down there. I won't get into all that, but the director before Kelly and Kelly, the director now, all agree that we do need to do some tweaking to it. Kelsey, who was the director before, gave me some suggestions, so if everybody's agreeable, I'm gonna work those suggestions with Jack to try to work it into our ordinance to tighten it up a little bit. There's the issue of if it's on the weekend, the police can be called, but obviously, if it's not a vicious dog and the police are dealing with something emergent, they're not gonna run out to a loose dog call, which they shouldn't. But people know that animal control will come out if it's a vicious dog or the dog has bit somebody or something like that. They'll come out on the weekends and on the evenings. But if it's just for a loose dog, the police have to be called, and the police really aren't, their cruisers aren't equipped to handle, a stray dog. And even if a stray dog's friendly, you don't know how it's gonna react if it's put in a police cruiser or leashed or whatever, so. The police aren't really equipped to handle that. They shouldn't handle it. They've got other things to do. But unfortunately, they have to respond to it. And Brian, chime in if I'm saying something incorrect, but the thing that animal control stresses is if it's on a weekend or on the evenings, the people need to call dispatch to get it on the record. Just say, hey, this dog is loose, because they need a record of the dog being loose, whether the dog is, and a lot of times too, if animal control or police are called, the dog will be out for 20, 30 minutes, and by the time the animal control police arrive, the dog's back in the house, and nobody, they have to witness it. So if everybody's agreeable, I'd like to try to tighten this up a little bit. I think it will help the situation over in Pembroke, and there's been a situation actually in my neighborhood that Tom's aware of. Dog is friendly, but I've leashed it twice and taken it back, and people complain all the time on the neighborhood Facebook page that the dog is out. I think since the city's gotten involved that situation has gotten a little better, but again, I just wanted to see if everybody's agreeable to even just to hear me out, and to possibly tweaking it to make it a little bit better. So that's why I bring it up.
Absolutely. I mean, section 3 of this, is it even relevant anymore? Since
Well,
we no longer
again,
have
Well,
the
but like
this
Jack
ordinance
said-
isn't in place.
Yeah,
This is, yeah, so the ordinance that's in place, and just to put a little history on that, is in 2020,
So this ordinance just was removed and replaced
Superseded.
by.
yeah, so in
Okay.
2020, Kenton County wanted to standardize all of the animal control ordinances throughout the county because there was a shift operationally to have animal control in charge, let's say, right? So the ordinance that's in place is actually, I mean, again, the language is the same, but the penalty is actually a Class B misdemeanor.
Okay.
And I think the idea is that you had this interplay, that animal control would deal with it 40 hours a week, Monday through Friday.
Right.
And that your local police department would deal with it outside. So I guess my pause on you, Carol, would be, I'm not sure the ordinance needs as much tweaking as operationally dealing with animal control and dealing with the county and seeing how are they going to, because I don't think, I mean,
I've been trying to do
if we
that.
imposed an ordinance that said animal control of the county needs to deal with it on weekends, I'm not sure.
Where's the judge? Can we get him to come back?
We're not
in?
sure.
Because that would
Well,
be my question, is if
I've
they
been-
discussed,
I've had long discussions with
shifts.
Kelsey McCombs and Kelly Sowers.
And so they think that the tweaking the
Kelsey-
ordinance would help?
In Kelly's defense, she's coming from Ohio, and she has said, take Kelsey's recommendation on this, because I'm not familiar with everything yet, and I've only been here a few months, so I'm trying to get up to speed. But Kelsey did, and I still have it in my email, but it kind of got pushed back with other things. But Kelsey did make some suggestions on what we need to do.
Yeah,
to try
and I'd be
tighten it
glad
up
to
a
have
little
those
bit.
discussions. I'm just saying operationally, I think
Is that her
it
calling?
might be more of an operational issue than an ordinance issue. It's just, because again, we have that vehicle for it to be a Class B misdemeanor.
Well, and the problem is too, is animal control is short-staffed. They've lost a couple officers, they're trying to replace them. That's obviously not, there's not people probably knocking down a whole lot of doors to be an animal control officer, so,
Yep.
And I'll tell you, a lot of what she said is true as far as us transporting. One thing that was told to me is that we can't transport a animal in the same cruiser we would transport a human being in. It's an OSHA violation. I don't know if that's true, but that was what was told to me, so I have to look that up. For a while, we were transporting dogs to Kenton County Animal Shelter after hours and dropping them off. They have like an intake for animals. Again, that would take an officer off the road for anywhere, half an hour or so to an hour, depending on, where they're at and what's going on. So that's kind of where that push came from. So from our standpoint, we do work with animal control the best we can. They just
So is
can't
there
always
no
come out.
animal control weekends and holidays?
there
in
is,
Kenton
they're
County?
on call for
Yeah, just
vicious
on call
animals
for
only.
vicious.
Uh,
So if it's a non-vicious dog, they tell us, well,
So on leash law issues, they're just not enforcing after hours?
If it's a
basically.
stray dog just running loose, they're not gonna come out for that. But if it's a dog that's attacked somebody or seems vicious or, is,
I gotcha.
in the middle of traffic or
yeah, if we can
something
corral
like
it
that,
back
they
in the
may come
yard
out.
it's supposed to be in, that's kind of what they want us to do.
I've kind of had a thought that the animal shelter has been relying a lot on volunteers to do different things, like anywhere from making phone calls to surgeries to, they've got us doing a lot of different things. And I know that I had a discussion with you about a stray dog that I was gonna pick up and take back to the shelter if the person that found it didn't want to keep it. And I'm gonna talk to the director about the feasibility of perhaps volunteers getting involved that can sign up to be on call on the weekend, that if an animal needs to be picked up, we can transport the dog. We'll just have to meet the police down there to let them in. I don't know if that's even a possibility, but I'm gonna suggest it. So,
Yeah, that all sounds like animal control side on
right,
that one.
right. But it may help, it may just help the situation in general if a volunteer is comfortable transporting the animal in a car, which we do a lot if we're taking them on day trips or whatever, and the dog's not vicious, then we can take them down. We know how to put them in a kennel. We know what to get them. So I don't even know if that's a possibility, but it may help with the weekend, evening type thing. So,
And I will, if you don't mind, we did have a resident sign to speak on this issue, Mr. Ben Bach. Yeah. State your name and address for the record, please, sir. I think if you get close, I think we can. I don't know what's going on with our microphones tonight.
Okay. Oh, that's
There
better.
we go.
Ben Bach, 10112 Meadow Glen Drive. I just saw that on the report. I was curious about what was being discussed, so I signed up to say something. My neighborhood also has similar problems of dogs that get out that they say, oh, it was the kid, but they are repeat offenders, and some of them bite other dogs, but it's just, there's no blood or it's cursory, so there's ongoing things. So I am interested on how that develops, because obviously there is something that needs to be done. I don't know, if, like you said, it possibly is operational, not an ordinance tweak. And so maybe better communication of what to do, maybe on the city website of, this is what the ordinance is, these are the steps that you should take if you have questions, or like a FAQ kind of thing. So that's all.
And that's a good point. I don't think a lot of people really know what to do when there's a
Sure.
loose dog.
That when it comes up to the, I'm on the HOA board there, like they ask us and they ask the community, what should we do? We're like, well, let's go see the city website and let's go see the city ordinance, and then have to walk that whole process.
Right. And I personally don't think it should be our police officers' jobs to deal with.
No, completely. They're
animal
not
control.
equipped for that. That's not their job. They have a lot
Right.
more meaningful work to do.
And frankly, if an officer gets bit bad enough, they may be off work. So that just jams us up more. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Has there been any discussion, Carol, with Judge Executive about potentially having a weekend shift, or is it just a budgetary and lack of manpower issue?
I mean, they have weekend officers. That's the
Just a
thing.
vicious on-call only,
But it's
not
just a vicious it's just an on-call. Now, there was an animal control officer that was working and I think there was a lot of confusion there, because, and I'm not going to mention his name because he's no longer there, but he was working the weekends and he was just picking up stray dogs. So I'm not sure. I mean, the same ordinance was in place, so I'm not sure if he just was doing above and beyond what he needed to do.
Gotcha.
Like I said, I know they've been short-staffed, and I
So
think
even
they
if they
are.
wanted to create a 9 to 5 shift for a weekend, they don't have the manpower as it is now.
I mean, I guess they would, considering they have on-call officers, but I think their on-call officers are people who are working during the week, and they're
Yeah.
probably getting overtime. So,
Yeah.
but I believe this person was just for the weekend.
Gotcha.
But he also had another job as a fireman, I think.
Gotcha.
So,
I can do it, but I need a 2014 Dodge Charger.
Hey, we know we can get you one real cheap.
Well,
Well, we'll break
Price
the
is
news to the
pretty
Bell
low.
County Constable.
maybe talk to the constable.
Got another one, probably buy it back for 2,600.
Well, my suggestion would be, it sounds like it makes sense if council was amenable to tweaking the ordinances, and if you wanted to run with this, Councilmember Franzen, is to really work closely with the
Yeah.
animal shelter, obviously, of the contacts, and come up with something that's, can be practically enforced.
Yeah, and that's my goal, is to try to, and we may not, if we can do something operationally, obviously, we won't have to do anything with the ordinance, but I just want to put it out there that it is becoming a problem, and I've been dealing with one issue in particular probably for about 4 or 5 months. Again, I'm hearing all kinds of sides to the story, but ironically, the person was cited, went to court, and then I got an email about 6 hours after the person got cited and went to court that the dog was already out again, so.
I mean, that's the other practical side is the Kenton District Court is probably not real excited about enforcing a Class B misdemeanor about a dog running at large that's not vicious.
Right.
Just the practical side of it.
But they claim that it's been cornering people in their
Aye.
yards, and
Right.
it is a Cane Corso, so it's a big dog. But there are no bad dogs, there's just bad owners. Speaking from an animal lover, but.
All right. Any other discussion on this? Anything else to report?
Just real quick, the ever evasive Madison Pike turn lane that I said back in June would hopefully be mostly completed by the time school starts, should start this week. So
Have 1 week to finish it.
Yeah.
And if you all get any hate mail or anything else about doing this after school starts, Mr. Marconi and I discussed this last week, discussed moving it to after school lets out, and I felt like it's too big a priority. We need to get this thing done. So there'll be some inconvenience. We'll do the best we can to work with them, especially when we will specifically work with the school district on bus traffic and all that. But I want to get this thing done, so I moved it forward. I'm the bad guy if anybody's mad.
Okay, I have no problem telling people that.
I've seen that happen before.
Yeah. And just lastly, I think the Dunkin', or not the Dunkin', the Starbucks is supposed to open up June or August 14th or something like that. Stay tuned. So that's all I had.
All right, thanks, sir. For my report, I've got another discussion. We were talking about, we had our first application this week for an accessory dwelling unit. You all may recall when we passed the sweeping zoning changes in our Z21, readopted the whole Z21, which was a massive change in zoning code. We've run across unintended consequences on it, which is inevitable on something of that magnitude, but it was something that needed to be updated. One of the things in there is in certain residential zones, I believe in all of our residential zones, we allow accessory dwelling units, EDUs. Those of you, for the benefit of everybody out there, an accessory dwelling unit is an accessory building on a single-family lot that is a separate dwelling unit. The idea of it is for parents or children or whatever, they can build a small house on the back of the lot or somewhere on the lot with a separate dwelling unit on that lot. So we've just had our first application for one. And what kind of came to our attention is maybe council wasn't fully aware of these, maybe they are, maybe we need to look at some tweaks. We just took it as the Z21 recommendation. And you know what, Jeff, I'm going to ask you if you wouldn't mind stepping up to the podium in case, so you can correct me when I start getting things wrong. But a few of the things, so for what it's worth, I want to kind of give you a rundown. It looks like about half the cities in Kenton County do not permit them. Crestview Hills, Edgewood, Fort Wright, Kenton Vale, Ludlow, Park Hills, Ryland Heights, and unincorporated county do not permit accessory dwelling units. The others have various restrictions, or they are unrestricted, follow the same setbacks, the same ordinances as a dwelling unit would follow. One of my concerns that I was aware of these. One of the things I was not aware of, I just found out, is that accessory dwelling units are not required to meet our design standards. If you'll recall, for those of you who were here, back in 2016, 17, we put in some design standards for single-family homes. And those would not apply to an accessory dwelling unit. I assume they would have to meet whatever the requirements are for an accessory structure. Does that sound right, Jeff?
That's correct, but there's really nothing that dictates what it is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
So it's kind of,
I mean, you probably couldn't build a concrete block dwelling unit in the backyard, or possibly you could. Judging by the look on your face, I'm not gonna hold you anything, but you're not gonna rule it out.
no, I'm not gonna roll it.
Yeah.
So any materials in play here? Any type of material?
I don't know that for a fact. We've got to take a deeper dive. I just wanted to get this discussion. This kind of popped up on our radar very quickly. I had just a crazy week leading up to this, so I haven't had a chance to do a deeper dive on it.
Okay. Now, are they required for building permits and everything else like a normal house structure would be?
Yeah.
Just the material
And
requirements?
Jeff, I can ask, maybe grab that microphone. You're kind of tall for our microphone there. You may be easier if you just hold it up. You got to be fairly close to that one.
The issue is that ADU is not, I guess the best term, it's not in the same wheelhouse as a single-family dwelling. Single-family dwelling has certain requirements, and because the ADU is looked as a accessory dwelling or accessory structure when it comes to setbacks, there's not a lot that restricts what you can and can't do. It has size requirements to the primary structure. Whenever it comes to if an ADU is permitted or not, the second thing you would look at is, I think it's 5,000. Yeah, so, or permitted accessory dwelling units may only be established on lots with a size equal to or greater than 5,000 square feet. That is not a very big lot, so.
No, I'd be surprised to find a more than a handful of lots in the city that are under 5,000 square feet. Yeah, I mean, our typical subdivision lot is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet, so.
They have to be in the backyard, right? So you're gonna have people traipsing through backyard.
Do ours have to be in the backyard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, are deed restrictions come into play here?
Deed restrictions?
No.
Like
If there would be a
HOA?
deed restriction
Oh,
restricting
yeah, the
materials and
HOAs.
houses being built, but they would not govern this.
I would assume the HOA is going, I mean, typically HOA requirements are going to supersede. I mean, the city requirements are a minimum, so if an I mean, I know, for example, a subdivision my son lives in here in Independence, their HOA doesn't allow sheds. So that's an accessory structure that's not allowed by the HOA. Now, it's also a civil matter, so, you know,
Right.
the HOA or the neighbors would have to sue to keep it out. But yeah, so presumably, that would fall under those accessory structures.
I would like to mention something else about the ADUs. ADUs are not required to be a certain distance from the primary structure. So if there is an emergency and emergency services has to access the building, they may be walking through 50 feet of grass just to get to it off the driveway. So something to keep in mind as well.
Yeah, and I think, for example, the one that we have an application in for now, I think is 10 or 20 feet off the rear property line.
Well, I think it's, right now it would be 10, is that correct?
10 is
Yeah.
the,
This would be 24 by 24 with
Yeah.
a 1-bedroom, full bath, kitchen, little dining room, closet.
Yeah, so 10 feet off the rear property line. I don't know how deep that backyard is, but to your point, Jeff, that's
yeah.
it'd be a few steps from the street to that particular structure.
Yeah, specifically in my mind, you know, a stretcher.
Yeah.
So, something to keep in mind.
The definition of this, it has to be occupied. Somebody can't call one and say, build one and say, we're going to use it for residence, but then use it for something else, storage or?
Well, you can build a shed.
Okay.
I don't know, does it meet the same requirements as an accessory structure, or is it specific requirements for accessory dwelling?
There is different requirements for size and certain restrictions.
See, I thought sheds were way more restricted than that, than a,
We've run into sheds, you can build a surprisingly large shed.
I have one next door to me.
Yeah, I can tell you for ADUs, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, but I believe the ordinance reads something to the effect of it cannot be more than 75% of the size of the primary structure or 800 square feet, whichever is smaller, right?
More restrictive, yeah.
Yeah, so you get, basically, you couldn't build an ADU that's more than 800 square feet.
Gotcha.
If you happen to have a 1,000 square foot house, then it couldn't be more than 750 square feet.
The biggest issue is having to separate an ADU from an accessory structure, and in the zoning ordinance, you would have to have a whole separate chapter almost to do that, so.
My thought is, and I'll admit I'm a little ambivalent on it. I mean, at first blush, it seems, concerning that somebody can build a little house in their backyard, but there are practical reasons for it. And we are pretty broad on what we allow sheds, the storage sheds. I mean, we've got.
But people aren't living in the sheds.
No, I agree with that. I'm just saying, the one concern is, yes, people are living in the backyard. On the other hand, people are living in the house. So it's, where you can have 20 people living in your house if you want to. It's the usual thing we deal with. It's weighing property rights against what is its impact on everybody around. So
Now-
yeah, there are two sides of the coin.
not familiar with this as I should be. Are there any discussion about traffic as far as cars or additional parking?
There's not enough parking on my street as
Yeah.
it is.
But that's what I'm saying, if you add an additional house to a backyard now, they're not required to add any additional parking spaces, right? So now what happens?
So usually with a single-family residential, it's required to have a certain amount of parking.
Yes, sir.
The ADU is required to have a certain amount of parking. I forget if it's one or two. I'd have to look at it again.
Okay, so they
But
are
a lo-
required to have, maybe
they-
possibly add a.
They are, but they can, they are able to use the existing driveway for the primary structure. So that's how they.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So there's no added driveway space, basically, they're
Correct.
grandfathering off of the existing structure.
And something else to know is you can build an ADU, move out of the primary structure into the ADU, and rent out the primary structure, which in essence would add even more cars to the to the primary structure itself, so.
Which you could rent your house either way, so I don't know if that would be the necessarily. The question came about short-term rentals. We don't allow, we're very restrictive on short-term rentals in our residential zones. You have to live there. You can't rent it for, I think, more than 30 days a year. Have to live in the house, so, you know, there are, if the concerns are people are gonna start putting up ADUs in their backyard, use them for Airbnbs, you really couldn't do that. Or
But how are we
not that
gonna
it would be
police
significantly impact. What's that?
How are we gonna police it?
Same way we do now. I mean, we have an existing ordinance that does not allow short-term rentals. Typically,
Okay, but what if they, how do you prove that those people aren't living there all the time?
we've had it happen, and we've stopped it.
Okay.
Would these structures have to be hooked up to like city sewer, or would they be allowed to have a septic? 'Cause from what I understand, septic, you have to have an acre lot.
They would have to follow Chapter 7 character standards, and under utilities, I don't know. I haven't thought about the separate
'Cause
system.
each
They would have to hook
structure-
up to utilities, though.
Okay, because each structure, I believe, if it has a septic, has to have an acre lot for each structure. I believe is what you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. That's more with Northern Kentucky Health Department. I'm not familiar with what's required.
Yeah, the health department, I believe it's actually, and I could be wrong, but I believe it's tied to the number of bedrooms maybe is the minimum. But yeah, at the minimum acre, and that assumes that perk test, and my understanding is the soil in Northern Kentucky, it's hard to get soil that perks.
Yeah.
That you can get by with 1 acre.
Especially
A
in
lot of
this
clay
area.
and rock.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't think they'd be allowed to build a septic tank if they can hook into the sewer. Like,
I wouldn't think so. I was just curious if that was one of the things.
Yeah, I would assume that if there was going to be, I mean, they still have to have permits, you know, they have to have a plumbing permit, an electrical permit for any installation, anything like that, so it's gonna have to meet the plumbing requirements, which presumably would be the sewer tap or things like that. You know,
So
granted,
Getting back to the original, what is your recommendations? Did you have recommendations, or were you just pointing this out, or?
I'm pointing it out, yeah, and kind of thinking, I mean, if council wants to say no ADUs, we can have a discussion tonight, we can pass a resolution tonight, we'll send it on to the planning commission, it's gonna take a text amendment to remove it. Or if we want to continue to allow ADUs, but put more stringent requirements on them, like they have to meet our design standards or whatever else we want to do, distance from, you know, from the primary structure, whatever.
I think Independence is a little more unique as opposed to some of these other smaller cities, that, yeah, we do have more space, so I don't know that a total restriction on them would make sense.
Yeah.
But the design, you know, materials and things like that should match the existing structure, or, you know, our ordinances. I think that is definitely, should be something we review.
Yeah, I mean, I would think at a minimum, right, we
And
should
possibly the
follow our
parking
design
issue too.
standards.
You know, you want to look at how this impacts people around them.
Yeah.
You know, you could potentially be doubling the size of it. If everybody in there decided to build one, you could double the size of a subdivision, and how would that work out?
Right.
I mean, there was reasons that certain number of houses were built in that
Right.
subdivision to begin with.
Yeah, I don't think
So-
that, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I don't think we should allow them in the CVS zoning area, because that's 5 units per acre, and
Yeah.
that's already tight enough. Now, the large lot subdivisions are residential estates, that's worth discussing, I think, there.
Yeah.
I mean, I have one, but,
Yeah.
and I'm in a large lot subdivision, but it was grandfathered because of, it was built before that area was in the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, do you have utility connections and everything, just like?
I
you use it
have
for-
septic tanks.
Okay,
for-
gotcha.
For both places, because there still are no sewers on my street,
Gotcha. Okay.
but everything else is hooked up.
I agree. These smaller lot sizes, however we tend to define that, it's just too much. Now, but there are a lot of exceptions out here with a lot of places that still have larger lot sizes that are within a city. And, you know, if they can match design standards, something similar to what the existing structure is built out of, you know, we don't want them throwing up plywood sheeted.
Right. Or concrete block structure.
Or concrete
whatever.
block structure or whatever.
I mean, can you imagine a bunch of these little houses going in Glenhurst where the lots are already smaller?
Yeah, I mean, that's.
I mean, what are those, 70-foot lots in Glenhurst?
70-foot lots.
I'm all for property owners' rights, but you can't.
Right.
I
There's gotta
don't,
be
I
some
don't wanna look,
restrictions.
I mean, my house butts up to I mean, I can look at 4 or 5 different houses in the backyard,
Right.
and their backyard butts up right next to mine. I don't want a bunch of accessory structures,
Right.
homes,
Right.
right up against my lot. I just don't.
I agree.
And
I
that's,
think-
where
I
does my
think-
property rights come into play there?
Exactly.
so.
Now, Mayor, the one applicant that we do have, is it, the lots seem appropriate, or is it, it's not in a tight scenario, or is there enough acreage involved, or
I'm sorry,
can you talk about the one that you say that?
Oh, the
brought
one that
this
we do
to light?
have? The one that we have is probably in a 70-foot lot subdivision.
So we're talking a small subdivision?
Yeah, yeah, there's, I mean, that one's, they're in. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that one. But it's just going forward,
Okay.
yeah. So I would guess the easiest thing to do, if we want to restrict our lot size, is restrict it to specific zones.
I think it would be
rather than
cleanest.
doing I mean,
Yep.
because, we all have that, or occasionally, we have several subdivisions that might have that 2-acre lot in a standard subdivision, so we want to restrict, okay. So, yeah, the CVS zone, we'll, for the point of this resolution, do we need to enumerate the zones, or can we just, the will of council and
Well,
everything
I
but the
mean,
rural
Mr.
area?
Marconi is going to have to make an application, so he's going to have to be specific in that application.
Yeah, let's be specific on the application. Do we need council, for the sake of a motion from council?
I think that would be helpful.
Okay.
So, Jack, were you thinking based on this information, we would have a resolution for the September 8th meeting?
No, I think we can do an oral resolution right now if you want
Yeah.
to make that application at the next.
But don't we want to figure out the zones and get the
Yeah, I'd
zones
rather
first?
figure out the
Yeah, whatever y'all want to do. I mean, we
Yeah.
can do whatever.
I mean, personally, if I got to go down and defend it, I'd like to put together
Yeah.
a little more complex.
Yeah, so I think we would just need some guidance as to how far we go with the design standards. Do we go the full design standards for an ADU? And then what zones are,
Yeah. I think if we come back with a draft of a resolution, Mayor, if you're good with it, and then council can look at it in September on the zones, the design standards, a good point about septic systems, and things like that.
Well, let me see here. I've got the independent zoning ordinance pulled up. So we've got the residential rural estate subdivision, or larger ones. We've got the residential large lot subdivision. Let's see what we have here. Minimum lot size in a residential large lot subdivision is a half an acre. Are we good with the half an acre?
Ooh, that's a little less than I thought it was.
That seems smaller.
Well, the RRE is larger.
Yeah,
Residential.
I guess the RRE would be, to me, the only one we would allow it in then.
Okay.
this has the zone.
So the RRE is a minimum lot size of 1 acre.
That makes way more sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So the RRE, they're allowed in the RRE. The others would be the residential large lot is a half acre, and then from there, yeah, we're just gonna get smaller on that one. We've got the residential conventional subdivision. Let's see what the size is. Yeah, that's a 9,000 square foot lot, and then there's the residential compact subdivision, which is only 6,000 square foot lots.
Those are currently conditional. So the RCPS and RM are conditional.
They are conditioner in there?
Yeah, they're already conditional.
Okay.
And that's another way to go with this too, is just
Right.
make them all conditional.
Oh, we're going to trust the Board of Adjustment?
Just saying it's an option. Just saying it's an option.
Greg looks for every chance he can.
Point taken, Councilman. All right. Yeah, I mean, that is the question. So let's start with the residential rural estate. 1 acre minimum, are we good with them? Are they?
That would be like Manor Hill and maybe Shaw?
Yeah, and right, yeah. I
Shaw
don't think
was
Shaw is.
half-acre lots minimum.
Yeah, I don't.
So it'd be Manor Hill
Hill's-
probably. Manor Hill's not?
no. RREs are typically not, we don't really see subdivision. I can't think of a
No, they're not
subdivision in
in-
RRE in the
there's no
city.
development.
It's
So that
just-
would be more just an individual home sitting on an acre lot.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, that particular acreage.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that.
Okay, so right now it is permitted. Now, it's also permitted in the RLLS and the RCVS, outright permitted. So yeah, the LLS is the large lot that we talked about, a half acre, so we don't want it as a conditional use there, we just want it not permitted, is that?
I mean, half acre's not much, I mean, our lots are
Our lots are a quarter.
Yeah, you guys are probably quarter acre.
quarter,
lots.
so there are a few flag lots back in there that are a half acre, I'm guessing, somewhere close to it. So I don't know, I think that doesn't seem like, I mean, if you do make it conditional, then you still are relying on the Board of Adjustments to make a decision.
Well, right now, it's a flat-out permitted use in
Yeah.
the large lot
Yeah.
subdivision. I don't, yeah.
What are your thoughts in the real estate end of things? You think a half acre is too small?
I think a half acre is a pretty good sized lot.
Uh-huh.
I personally wouldn't be worried about it, but it's a, it's a decision. I mean, it's,
So we could
some people are
do
gonna be unhappy with it, yeah.
half acre conditional, maybe.
Yeah. So we can move that down to conditional. Then the other, I mean, the concerning one is the RCBS, which is the conventional subdivision, which are 9,000 square foot minimum. Right now, that's a flat out permitted.
Yeah, that one I think needs to go away.
We
It's
just want it
too
gone
small.
completely, not permitted in the RCBS, okay? And then, of course, from there, then, the conditional uses right now are the RCPS, which is the compact subdivision, which are 6,000 square foot
I
lots.
say if we're going away in the 9,000, we need to go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, the 6 needs to go as well. And then actually in the RM zone, the mixed zone, so those are single-family detached 5,000 acre, or 5,000 square foot minimum. Townhomes are 2,000 square foot minimum. Yeah, I think
That's gotta go.
I'm gonna guess the RM is a absolutely no.
Yes.
So
I
any
don't
of
know,
it,
I mean, I guess you could go the other way on that if it's considered mixed use, that's a mixed use.
well,
No.
I mean, it's all residential though. It's not true mixed use of mixture of uses. It's different types of.
Where's, like, for zoning purposes, like Harris Pike or Independence Road, where they have the, large
It's
2,
gonna
3
vary.
That would be
lots?
permitted,
You a large lot.
that'd be permitted.
Well, I know, but I get that, but what if what if they're falling under some weird old zoning that was there?
A lot of it might be ag.
It's all been redone.
No, we actually don't have
It's
any
already
ag left in the city.
It's
I don't
redone
believe we
with,
have any.
Was
Z21.
Z21?
Yeah, because mine was R1B and now it's LLS.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and that's it. The R1B was the old large lot subdivision. We just picked up these extra uses with Z21 that were never included before. But yeah, I mean, as far as a lot of, I mean, most of this city was rezoned, I think, in probably the 80s. They got rid of all the ag land and put in a variety of residential zones. So there's a good chance that the Harris Pike are what used to be an R1B or an R1C that are now fall into one of these.
It's a lot of it's a mixture up on this end of it is RRE or LLS. Most of the stuff along there.
That would make sense, which makes sense, yeah. That would be that old 1B, like you said.
Yeah, and some of it was R1A before.
So anything from 9,000 square foot down
Yeah.
prohibited?
And then what do you want to do with the RLLS, permitted or conditional?
What's RLLS?
So that's the large lot, that's the half acre.
I would say permitted on that.
I think conditional. We'll trust the
Board of
Board of Adjustment for
Right.
something. Yeah.
So permitted on RRE, conditional on RLLS?
Conditional on RLLS, and then everything else, the RCBS, the RCPS, and the RM, flat out not permitted.
There'll be a quiz later.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what about the
Remember
design
all the
standards? Are you going to impose the full design standards?
I believe we should.
Yes.
I don't see any reason not to.
Yeah, for permitted use, has to meet design standards.
Can he sit down? He's been standing up there for a while.
He's had a long day.
If you're gonna build a mini me, it's gotta look like a mini me.
So you have to mimic the primary structure. So let me ask you this, Attorney Gatlin. So we're gonna send a resolution, we're specifically outlining, what I was gonna suggest is we can take a month, if you all wanna look into this deeper and get a better understanding of it. If we move forward a resolution tonight, can we just get that
100%, just make
If council
the minutes
comes
part of it,
back on
100%.
September and says, you know what, we may have
Yeah.
jumped, I mean, we may
Well-
have to make new application, hopefully not.
So it would be cleanest if the application, I don't know what your timing is on applications right now for the next meeting.
But yeah, I don't think it's a mad rush. We already have one. I don't think we're suddenly going to have.
Well, my thought is in that if somebody is considering one in a small subdivision and they get wind of what we're up to, they will very quickly be applying for a permit.
Yeah, I think you're right, but, you know, I mean, they're gonna have to come up with plans and.
Right, so it may
It's-
take,
it-
the
it's-
time
it's
frame
gonna be
might still
hard
be
to run
longer
in
than what
and
we
get something
need.
done, but it could
Gotcha.
happen.
I don't think this is a cheap project, so I don't.
They
think
shouldn't
that
be,
it's-
no.
And this is the first one in 5 years, right?
Right.
Okay, so maybe there won't be a
I mean,
mad
that's it,
rush.
yeah,
but-
we've had
yeah.
C-21 in place for a few
Yeah.
years now, and, I would say maybe since 2021, 22, yeah. So, yeah, it seems unlikely, but sure, it could happen. I mean, I'm gonna get my application in this week.
Yeah.
Don't you have to own
My daughter's house. I got 3 kids in the city, one of them will let me build my accessory dwelling unit on it.
I mean, we certainly, so let's just talk process. So we can certainly orally tonight do a resolution. We can come back in a month. If we do the resolution tonight orally, Mr. Marconi will make the application for the text amendment. It will be analyzed by PDS staff. They're going to make a recommendation or a not recommendation. It's a text amendment originating from the city. Realistically, they're going to make a recommendation. It will then be held at a public hearing, and they're going to then make a recommendation, and it's going to come back to this body, right? So arguably, we can tweak it if we wanted to tweak it after that public hearing and after that recommendation. The only practical change would be the votes to overturn that recommendation potentially, right? So if they recommend it the way we present it, permitted use in RRE, conditional use in RLLS, meet full design standards, and we come back and say, hey, we'd really rather just do it permitted in RLLS or do something different, it would just require a majority of the entire body to overturn that.
Okay, so it would
text
just be
amendment.
simply an overturning a recommendation move.
Yes.
Not to go back through the whole process.
Right.
That's, I can tell you, we are not gonna make it to the September meeting. It's, the planning commission's meeting in September is on the 4th, so 30 days from today, or 31 days from today. I don't think we're gonna get an application. I can't remember what the.
I'd have to get it by this Thursday, I think. It's
Is
always,
it less than 30 days?
well, depending on it, typically the text amendment, I always have till Thursday of the week of a council meeting to make it, so. I'm Jeff, I don't,
Sounds right.
I'll put you on.
Sounds right.
It might be on KCGC's, website.
Yeah.
On the deadlines. It's somewhere on PDS's, but,
All right, the deadline for the September 4th meeting is August 7th, so. So yeah, we could make it into the September meeting.
What
Why don't we
day?
just put it, I mean, why don't we just move it forward with what we have, and if it's all right with you all, we'll move forward with what we've enumerated here, and then like Jack said, if we need to change it, if we decide, you know what, maybe we should make it an accessory use in RCDS, and we want to flip that, we just. we'll
Worst
just,
case
you know,
scenario, if someone looks at everything on LinkGIS and says, oh, we really should have done it differently, we can just push back the hearing, the public hearing.
That's true.
A month as well, and just
Right.
modify that process. I
Yeah.
think PDS would work with us on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion to,
All right, so what I'm looking for is a resolution to authorize City Administrator Morricone to file an application for a text amendment to all of our residential zones, basically, permitting the, well, the RRE stays the same, so allowing the accessory dwelling units as a conditional use in the RLLS zone and prohibiting them from the RCBS zone, the RCPS zone, and the RM zone.
And meeting our design standards.
And accessory dwelling units must meet our current design standards for primary residential structures.
I'll make that motion as long as I don't have to repeat all of that.
Fair enough.
I'll second it.
All right, got a motion from Councilmember Franzen, second from Councilmember Waite. That is the dream team tonight. All right.
Mayor, can I borrow your cheat sheet for my application? 'Cause-
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm writing this as quick as I can on a Post-it note, and I've lost track of my.
You got it, you got it.
Jeff, I
Thank you.
think you can
All
say
right, if you can read it, that'll be the other
Sit down
question.
Jack,
All right.
do you have a
Thank you.
cheat sheet I can borrow?
I got it.
I got it.
I'll
I've
send
got
you an
it here.
email. I got it. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Jeff.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this issue? Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Hearing no other discussion, roll call vote, please. Madam Clerk?
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mr. Waite?
yes.
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Mr. Bricker?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Steffen?
Yes.
All right, that motion passes unanimously. Thank you. We'll get that ball rolling. Yeah, and I would just suggest council is take some time over the next few weeks and, take a look at this and, see what you think, see what the, are there unintended consequences or anything like that. Yeah, I've always been kind of ambivalent on it. I see the benefit of it, but I also see the impacts of it, so. All right, that concludes my report. Next item of business is executive session, and I will tell you that we do need to go into executive session pertaining to KRS 61.810B regarding the acquisition of real estate. I would ask for a motion.
Make a
So-
motion to go into executive session.
I've got a motion from Councilmember Waite to go into executive session.
Second.
I've got a second from Councilmember Vogelpohl. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. And I do anticipate a pretty quick one here.
Got 5 minutes.
All right? Yeah. We are in executive session. regular session?
So moved.
I've got a motion from Councilmember Wade. Did I get a second from Councilmember Vogelpohl? All right. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, we are back in regular session. Next, I would entertain a motion that Attorney Gatlin is going to articulate for us.
Yeah, so we are going to move forward and make a motion, and this is my recommended motion, that we move.
Okay, hang on.
What?
Chris, do you want to explain what we're doing first?
Well,
before
we'll
we
let,
make the motion?
we'll let him go through this, and then we'll get on the
Okay,
public purpose. We'll talk about that one.
all right, sorry.
Yeah, so my recommended motion is that we're going to move forward and acquire pursuant to our final due diligence, including title search, of the property that we currently have under contract. I'll let the mayor discuss the address and kind of the details. And that I also want a part of that motion, the purchase price of $85,000, and that I don't really honestly think the conflict of interest in our ethics ordinance applies, but just in an abundance of caution. The person who we are buying the property from is a vendor of the city. So as a part of that motion, I just want to make it in the record that we are acquiring property from a vendor of the city, and that we have gotten an appraisal of the property, that we are acquiring it at the appraised price, that it is in the best interest of the city to acquire this property because of the use that we want for it and the protection to the city. And it's just merely coincidental that it happens to be a vendor of the city. That has nothing to do with any of this.
I'll make that motion.
All right, I've got a motion from
Stated
Councilmember.
by.
Second.
Second.
And I've got a second from Councilmember Seven. All right.
And then again, if the mayor
Alright.
could articulate the public purpose of this acquisition.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. So what we were discussing here is the acquisition, as council knows, is the acquisition of 121 Pelly Road. And this is about if I recall, about a 2-acre lot. I could be wrong on that one.
2.130.
It's 2 acres,
Okay.
2.04 or something like that.
Two and change, yeah, but it's 121 Pally. The reason this is coming, the lot's been for sale now for, I believe, since late '23. It sits right at the entrance of the city. It sits adjacent to the state right-of-way that our Welcome to Independence sign, that our huge American flag that we're so proud of sits on. So it has been for sale. It has come to our attention. Apparently, there was an interested buyer, wanted to buy it, potentially use it for fill, busted up concrete, fill it with that to raise up the site, and then eventually build a single-family or a two-family house on it, is what we understood. I don't know whether that's the case or not, but the concern with this all along has been this is the front door of the city. So as council knows, I brought this to you last month. We went to an executive session, decided, and you all authorized me to move forward on negotiating a contract. We have done that. We have signed a contract contingent upon appraisal and some other due diligence. We did receive the appraisal back, as you know. The appraisal came back at $85,000, which is the purchase price for that. So we had the property appraised. We've got a market value appraisal saying that's a fair price for the lot. It is significantly below the current listing price, but the owner has agreed to sell it to us, Mr. Malat, who is a vendor of the city. But as we said, this is and I think in everybody here's opinion, you made clear to me last month, a clear public benefit to the acquisition of this property. And I think we've checked all the appropriate boxes. Most importantly, we've not relied on that price. We have had an appraisal done to make sure we're getting it for the right price. So that is the reason for it. Have I missed anything?
Just that we now have 27 acres on Orlando.
There is that. There is that. For all the naysayers who feel like we're just all about developing, we acquired across the road. We acquired some significant acreage. I can't remember that one now. I can't believe I can't. 20-some acres.
I think that one's about 25.
25 acres. Yeah, the old jail site. We acquired that, which ensures that it will be permanently green. And we have acquired this site, which we anticipate will be permanently green, another 2 acres there at the entrance to the city along the right-of-way that will remain green. So we actually do care about leaving things. We also understand that there are property rights and we can't control certain things. At any rate, I digress. All right, so I have a motion and a second. Do I have any further discussion on this one? All right. Hearing none, roll call vote, please. Madam Clerk?
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mr. Steffen?
Yes.
Mr. Baylor?
Yes.
Mr. Waite?
Yes.
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Mr. Brinker?
Yes.
All right, that motion passes unanimously. We will move forward pending the title search from Attorney Gavin, and if we get a green light on that, we will move on with closing. I don't have anything else. Anything from council?
National Night Out tomorrow night.
That's right. Got caught up in the discussions, and yeah, Bar Night, National Night Out. Should be a great time. Got a lot of local businesses and other community organizations participating. We're going to have some live music with What About Jane? I believe Barleycorns is going to be there with their beer van. So we have all the makings of a wonderful night here in the Indo. Tomorrow night starts at 6. Okay, I wasn't sure if this started earlier.
I think the
Music 7.
7, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if we were starting National Night Out a little earlier, but either way.
Yes.
If you're worried about it, get here at 5.
There you go.
You won't be disappointed. All right.
I just said one quick thing. I doubt if he's watching, but I want to wish my son Brad happy 30th birthday tomorrow. Considering he wasn't supposed to make it, it's an extra special birthday. The kid's one of the bravest, strongest kids I know, and I just wanted to wish him a happy birthday. So.
Happy birthday, Brad.
Happy
I'm sure he
birthday,
is.
Brad.
All right.
Harumph.
What?
I said harumph.
All right. Anything else from council? Then in that case, do I have a motion from council to
I
adjourn?
make a motion to adjourn.
Councilmember Wade, I got a motion, I got a second from Councilmember Vogelpohl. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Take care. My dad's birthday.
Thanks, Jeff.